So this is going to be really awkward, like really awkward for me to talk about, considering the fact that I have never, ever, 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 ever talked about it with pretty much anyone. But I want to make this because I have no idea if there's anybody else out there who has dealt with the same thing like their whole lives and just never put it together, like what it was. Like, I dealt with this forever, and I didn't know. It's crazy thinking back on it. Like, how did I not know for like 27 years? How did I not put it together? That's why I want to make this, just in case there's anybody else out there. So when I was a kid, so you know how, let me try and defend myself a little bit. So the only way I can make sense of this is just, when you're a kid, you're just like living life. You're not really thinking, you don't really know what's normal and what's not normal. You don't really know much of anything, really. You just know your existence, and it's just how it is. You know what I mean? I was just always really frustrated as a kid because I just had really bad stomach issues, like bloating, like gas and stuff like that. It was just really, it's just all the time. And I didn't know why. I just thought that maybe that was normal. It was really embarrassing. I didn't know how to deal with it, but I didn't want to tell anybody because I felt it was embarrassing, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, it was a problem, and I didn't know how to communicate that to anybody. It's kind of like how when you're a kid, you just accept stuff. Like, for instance, one time, one of my friends told me that they knew somebody who took a really, really hot shower and their back fell off. So I believed that as a kid, my whole childhood, basically. And, I was way too old to keep, on believing that. And one day I was on my way to the bowling alley with one of my friends, driving with my parents. And I was like, dude, did you know that if you take a really hot shower, your back falls off? And I was way too old to be believing this still. And he looked at me and he was like, Jordan, what? And I was just, I remember that moment so vividly. I was just sitting there and I was like, oh, that was really dumb that I had believed that. My only excuse is that I think that what the person was saying when I was a kid was that their back was peeling because it was so hot, and so their skin was peeling off. That's the only thing that I can come up with. But that just goes to show that a kid just accepts stuff. You know what I mean? They just accept anything in their existence, that it's normal. So I didn't know. I didn't want to like talk to anybody about it. I didn't want to ask if this was something, and the internet wasn't really a thing, so I couldn't like type anything in. And I just went on my whole life just thinking that it was just something that I couldn't solve. So, thank God I married Sarah. Let's just put it that way, because Sarah has a milk allergy. Like, she's not lactose intolerant. She just, like, when she consumes milk, it like makes her stuffy and just kind of feel like clogged up, you know what I mean? Like you're sick. If she has too much, like enough, then that side effect will happen. So when we got married, we didn't, buy milk. We had cheese in the house, but we would use it sparingly, like very sparingly. And sometimes we would still have like pizza and stuff, and she would just kind of deal with like the minimal side effects that she had. So my problem kind of started to get slightly better, and I didn't even think about it. It was just something that was happening. I just felt a little bit better. But what happened was we were kind of like going through this kick of like trying to not eat foods that were like inflammatory foods, and so dairy was just out completely. And we did that for like a solid month, and I hadn't had pizza in like a month or a month and a half or something like that. And I remember the day that we got Papa Murphy's pizza. If you've ever had that, this one pizza they have specifically is so unbelievably cheesy. We got that kind, and I ate like a lot of it, like a ton. And the next 4 days, I was done. like completely. I went from having no milk or cheese to having like just an unbelievable amount. All right, I shouldn't have had that much. What was I doing? Yeah, I was wrecked for 3 to 4 days. It was horrible. Like, it was horrible. I started putting it together. You know, it took me 28 years, but I started putting it together. I remember exactly where I was, and before I had that pizza, it had been the first time my whole life that I wasn't having an issue. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Right after I had that pizza, and I will always remember exactly where I was sitting. It sounds so dumb, but I was sitting at my computer working, and it was horrible. It was just constant. It was horrible, and I don't even know what I was thinking about, and it just popped into my head. It's cheese. It's milk. The first time that had ever crossed my mind, ever, was right then. And all of a sudden it was like every puzzle piece my whole life was just put together, and it just spelled out milk. And from then on, I have not, like, literally have not had pizza. This has been for 6 months. I haven't had, like, a legit piece of pizza in 6 months, and I do not care. I do not miss it. I don't miss cheese. I don't miss milk. I miss nothing. As soon as I put it together, I've realized I've looked stuff up. I'm not like lactose intolerant. I just have a really severe like milk sensitivity, basically. To where like if I have a minute, like I can't have milk chocolate, let's put it that way. I've realized that I can't even have like a little tiny bit of like that cheesy kind of cheese. You know what I mean? Like I can have dried cheeses and it's all right, but I can't have like cheesy kinds of cheese. Like I cannot sprinkle cheese on my salads. I started to do experiments on myself. I would have a little bit of milk chocolate. I would wait. I'd time myself 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, I would have an issue. I'd have gas again. I would do this periodically with various things that I liked, and I just realized I couldn't have anything. I could have a very specific kind of dry cheese, and that's it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this is extremely awkward for me to talk about. There's something about just sitting in front of a camera, and there's nobody out here that is making me be able to say this. But man, really, if you are out there and you have struggled with this, and you just think this is normal because everyone's like, oh, this, you know, everybody, you know, has flatulence or whatever, like, it's not normal, all right? Like, it's not normal. Cut cheese out completely if you haven't put it together, and just see what happens. Just cut it out for a whole week. It'll take about that long to, like, realize the effect it's been having on you. If there's somebody out there, if there's one person out there that this could help, and for some reason like me, you just didn't put it together, that's the piece to the puzzle that you've been missing. And I hope that this helped. Man, I don't miss cheese. Like, I'm shocked. I do not miss pizza. I don't. Because this just solved my entire problem. My whole life. And that is better than eating a slice of pizza any day. Any day. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll post a video next week, so stay tuned. And yeah, love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.